pause. We pause for a second or two. This is episode 106, Generational Structure. Often in life we get confused. We get confused about what is our part, what are we supposed to deal with, and what should we leave for someone else to deal with. In our life, we have some areas where we feel like it is up to us to deal with it. In other areas, we feel powerless, like it does not matter what we do, we will just fail. There are some areas in our life that we struggle with, and that our parents' generation also struggled with, and that our grandparents' generation also struggled with, and the generation before them also struggled with, that every generation struggles with. Today's episode is called Generational Structure, and today we will address this constant judgment call of what can we do in a matter of one generation. What should we pass on to the next generation, and what is simply difficult for each and every generation? Constants. The Polaroid for today's episode, the skill, the emotional skill, is specific skill letters, and this specific skill falls under our confused situation. Letters is about us getting more clear about who is saying what goes where, and with whom. When we feel confused, we mistake our job for someone else's, and the job of someone else to be ours. We mix up intentions, and we mix up what is really realistic to ask of ourselves and of others. We mix up people. We mix up ourselves with generations past and generations to come. Specific skill letters is about making clear to ourselves, to our own individual understanding, where a specific intention comes from. Say that we have a specific problem at hand, and we feel like we can definitely say that this problem is a problem. We want to do something about it. Often, once we have concluded that something is indeed a problem, often we just rush ahead and try to find the solution as quickly and as effectively as possible. We rush on ahead. We do not pause. We do not pause. What we should do when we have a problem, what we should do before we rush on ahead to find a solution, is to pause for a second or two. And then we apply specific skill letters. In this specific skill, we spend some time with ourselves and the different intentions we feel pressing, pushing inside of us regarding this problem at hand. So we make clear, what is it really we are looking at here? Is this problem a constant problem that every generation struggles with? Could be. Is this problem instead something that is specific for our generation and our generation alone? Is this problem something that takes 3-4 generations to solve? That it is not unsolvable, but it takes more than one generation, maybe. Maybe there needs to be cooperation across generations to deal with it. Maybe we need to take into account both our own intentions and the intentions of our parents and grandparents, maybe our children. We live in a time right now where many people are confused in about the same way. And that is that many people now live cut off from generations past. They view their generation here and now as isolated and separate from generations past. And this confusion to not be in touch with the people who have led up to us leads to many ill-advised decisions. And people of our time seldom pause. And when we do not pause, it is not natural, it is not spontaneous to consider the intentions of our generation, of generations past, and of future generations. We need to pause first before we apply any specific skill. We always need to pause first. And then comes the difficult part. Once we have paused, once we have made clearer some different intentions pushing inside of us, intentions being our own, intentions being from generations past, and intentions being from future generations. Once we have some clarity into this, now comes the hard part. And that is to do our best of accepting what needs to be done. Some problems that we want to make something about are not ours to solve. Some problems go beyond generations. Some problems span many generations. Some problems we inherit and pass on to our children, that they in turn pass on to theirs. And this is difficult. It is difficult, sometimes almost impossible, to pass on a problem that feels unbearable. It takes some special effort on our part to accept realistically that we must pass on something terrible. And it takes an equally special effort on our part to try to accept that we have inherited an insufferable great pain from our parents and our grandparents. But also specific skill letters, making clear some generational structure. It also gives us space, because once we, day by day, feel more certain about what is our generation's role to play and what should we pass on to the next generation, then we free up space. Then we free up breath. We free up some ability to pause. Once we let go of extremes, that we should take on any and every problem, or that we should not have to deal with any problems, we should just be let loose. Once we let go of such extremes and find a nuanced, realistic, generational structure, then our pausing will feel more I almost want to say sweet. Like there is some sort of sweet taste to it. Once we accept some of these things, what is our role and what we should pass on. It has this sort of gentle quality. Might sound odd, but it can feel actually quite sweet. Pausing feels very different depending on how we do it and how often and when we do it. Pausing is not one feeling, it's not one phenomenon, it's many, many things. And pausing is a craft. And pausing and this generational structure goes hand in hand, and they sort of carry each other. And once we start trying it out, after a while we will get some sense of it. We will feel our way into it, and in time our generational structure will feel quite robust, and acceptance gets a bit easier. Not easy, far from it, but a bit easier. That's it for today. Thank you.